So I don't know what happened there. We cut out on our live stream. Like I said, I'm new to this, trying to use the GoPro, but at least we ended at a good spot. Right now we have a Paldea Evolved. This is the illustration rare. This thing's kind of blown up in price. I got it in a 9 for like 30 bucks when it first released. Like I said, this is when I was just getting into collecting slabs. So after that, we got some prize packs. I believe we got all the stamps right here. So you got the Obsidian Flames. Graded this myself in a PSA 10, super cool. Then we have this one's actually from Sword and Shield. So that'll be it would have been a good segue if I put it at the bottom of the stack, but this one is super hard to grade, hence why I only got it in a 9. I believe there's only 1 or maybe 2 10s in existence, and finding clean copies in the wild is a hard feat. So super cool to have that, glad to have that. This is another one. This is the Akiragawa prize pack. I bought like 30-40 copies of this and picked the cleanest one to send out, and it got a 9. And to be honest, I wasn't super happy with any of the cards I got. So this one is a hard one to grade as well, from my understanding. I'm not quite sure the pop report on it, but definitely not easy to find clean copies of. And then we're getting into the heavy hitters box, I believe. So I graded this one myself. Got a 10, super exciting. I graded 2 copies. I believe one got a 9, one got a 10. I'm a big fan of the stamp cards, so cool one to have in the collection. And followed by this one. This one's a little bit harder to grade than the other one, but another cool stamp one. This one, artwork from Paldea Evolved, of course, but super cool. Glad I could grade my own in a 10. After that, we'll be getting into some Sword and Shield. Starting off with Pokemon Go, we got the reverse holo PSA 10. These are also really hard to grade. I've got several copies raw, and none of them are worthy of a 10. And then we got the holo. So not my favorite artwork, but still a cool card. It's got a little ghost stamp in there, something a little different. After that, we're getting into battle styles. This is actually one of my favorite sets. Like I was saying with Steam Siege, it's not bad. People hate on it. People hate on battle styles. Man, this booster box is as cheap as they come, and it's got one of the best cards of all time. Now this one is not my favorite full art, but it's not the worst either. Not the worst card I've ever seen, so we'll take it. Now we're getting into one of the best cards of all time, the Sleepy Tyranitar. He's over there, he just scrounged down a Thanksgiving dinner. You know, that pig knight is looking at him awfully scared. And I love this card so much, I had to get 2 copies in a 10. I had 3 at one point, but someone really wanted one, so I was willing to let it go. And then this is my copy that I pulled. It graded a 9. So a little disappointing. I would have loved to get a 10 on my copy, but who knows, we might crack it and regrade it. Eventually I would like to get more copies. I wouldn't mind having like a whole slab display of 9 of these on the wall or something. One of my favorite cards of all time. And this is the reason I think Battle Styles is slept on and undervalued. So then our final card from Sword and Shield era, Darkness Ablaze. We got the holo. I need the reverse holo. I need the V's. Need quite a few cards from Sword and Shield era, but since I got back into collecting Tyranitar, or going after the master set, my main focus was catching up on all the WotC and EX era stuff, and I'm happy to say I achieved that goal. So the Sword and Shield will have to wait a little bit longer, and now we're getting into Sun and Moon. I actually have an almost fully fledged out Sun and Moon set. This is the team up. I believe that's the holo. Super sick artwork. Team up is just a goated set, so you know this thing is only going up in price. Followed by the reverse hollow. Like I said, super slept on. I mean, maybe not slept on, but super fucking badass set. So stoked to have those, and both in a 9 and a 10. I actually graded this copy myself. Bought it off TCG Player. It was super clean. There's like one little cardboard tag on the bottom where it wasn't cut all the way or something, but super sick. And then we have an Unified Minds full art with the Sableye. This set is awesome. It's got several Tyranitars. That is only one. Then I believe we have the Arita Tyranitar. This thing was dirt cheap when I bought this card. I think I paid 30 bucks for a PSA 10. And it's actually a really cool artwork. It's got, you can see Tyranitar looking through the crystal, like right at you. That's one of my favorite things about this art. It's drawn by Arita. He's the GOAT. I believe he's only done 2 Tyranitar cards. And for this being like a $2 card for the longest time, it is absolutely stunning. Deserves the hype. I don't know if it's worth what it is now, like genuinely, just because there were so many of them. And then getting into the alt art. I never bought the 10, wish I did. It just keeps going up in price. I will have to get it eventually. Definitely on my list of things to buy is a 10 of this card. And then this will probably be for sale. I've had this forever. I actually cracked it, tried to regrade it. Super clean. Only thing wrong with it is there's some scratching on the back. So you could tell it was like played with in a tournament or something. Then we're getting into the rainbows. So the rainbows are super cool. These are the only 2 rainbow Tyranitars. Had to put them next to each other. You got the Unified Minds and the Lost Origin. Super cool cards. Glad I was able to get them both in 10s before prices started skyrocketing. After that, I believe we got, another Lost Thunder. Not the one I was thinking of. But this one's cool. It's like a 3/4 art Tyranitar GX. Pretty badass. Yeah, I like this one. For 5-band graphics, it's not bad. There's a good background, shit going on in it. Then we have another full art from Lost Origin. Super cool. Glad I could get this in a 10. After Lost Origin, I believe we have Celestial Storm. So this is the first and only reprint of Tyranitar. This is from his rookie card from, I believe, Neo Genesis. Super awesome artwork. Love it. Can't go wrong. This is the same dude that did the original Shinings, or some of them. And he also did the Lugia first edition rookie card from Neo Revelation. Excuse me. And we got the reverse hollow as well. These are both 9s. Hard to find in a 10. A lot of these ended up in bulk, so super cool to have those. So now that we're done with the ultra modern stuff, we can get into X and Y. Before X and Y, we'll do an honorable mention. I have a Pokemon Center Bear Walker collab. Got the skateboard, graded it in a 10 myself. I'm gonna probably do a video of me showing this in a display. I'm gonna create a shadow box for the skateboard and everything. Super stoked on that. Awesome card. Couldn't be happier that it's in a 10. So getting into XY, we have the Fates Collide Reverse Hollow Tyranitar. These cards are, it's not my favorite artwork, but they're kind of underrated, super hard to grade, low pop. So we got the Reverse Hollow, followed by the Hollow, both in 9s. 10s are damn near impossible to come by. And then followed by the Cosmos Hollow. I actually graded this one myself. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a swirl right here and there's another swirl right here. So super unique copy. I was really hoping for a 10 on this, but I got lucky. This is my cleanest copy out of all the knockout collections I opened, and it's by far the coolest one holo wise. So stoked to have that. Then we have a staff Fates Collide PSA 8. This is one of the rarest Tyranitar cards. I have a raw copy I got before all the hype. Now that raw copy is probably like a $200 card. I think this thing's sitting around $1,000 in a PSA 8. I probably will sell this, but only because I was able to acquire a PSA 9. So super stoked to have a 9. This is pop 22 in a 9, pop 1 in a 10. So it's a pretty rare card, hard to grade. It's got that staff stamp. It's got everything a Tyranitar collector would be stoked for. So super happy with this one. Then after that, we have some Ancient Origins. I believe this is the set I need the most cards for. I'm missing quite a few. I got this one right here in a 9. I actually saw it at a card shop, was super clean. Thought it could grade a 10, and it didn't get the 10, but I'm happy with the 9. Then we have a PSA 8. This is the full art variant of the Mega Tyranitar. I actually did have a 10 at one point. I ended up selling it. It's just not my favorite artwork. It's a cool card. Graded this one myself. Was really hoping for a 9. It's super clean. I mean, there's a little bit of whitening on this corner, but I thought it had a for sure shot at a 9, maybe a 10 if I was really lucky. And that whitening, you could hardly see it. So I found that at a card show, super cool find. And XY, I'm missing like the half art from Ancient Origins. I'm missing the full art, which is actually a pretty cool full art, so I need to get that one. And then I'm missing the Spirit Link, and I believe I'll have every XY Tyranitar card. So I'm almost there. Now we're getting into some mid-era. So if you don't know, Tyranitar never got a card during Black and White era, probably because that generation mainly only had Black and White Pokemon. Like they created a whole dex for it and didn't really go outside of that. But if you get to Heart Gold, Soul Silver, we do have some. So starting things out with Unleashed, I believe this is the non-holo 9. Super cool card, super rare. All of these mid-era ones are slept on and low pop and impossible to find. So I got myself the non-holo. Super stoked on that. PSA 9, new cert. I don't know the pops off the top of my head, but I do know I opened like 5 of these boxes, maybe more. This comes out of a theme deck, and the best I could grade was in PSA 8 for the Cosmos. So the Cosmos foil is insanely hard to grade. I'm looking for a PSA 9 copy if anyone has leads or wants to sell me theirs. Super cool card. I love this. I believe it's done by Himeno. Oh no, this is Kaoki Saito, my bad. So Saito, this is the dude that does all the ponchos. So super dope artist, super dope art. Definitely need to get myself a PSA 9 copy of this and the reverse holo in a 9. I've been searching for that for months. Wish I bought it sooner when it was more available, but really need the reverse holo in a 9. After that, we have from the same set, the Prime. This is one I'm super happy I was able to grab before prices became unreasonable. PSA 9, new cert, Prime Tyranitar. One thing I like about this is it's got the gold text, kind of a throwback to reverse holos in X or EX era. You know, it's a close-up shot of his face, but this card's really grown on me. I believe this is like a $3,500 card in a 9 nowadays. I paid like $600. So I got in right before it blew up, but I will say I could have snagged one at $200 and I didn't. So you live and you learn. After that, now we have the Jimeno. This is a reverse hollow 9. Super cool card. This card has grown on me a lot. I've opened a lot of theme decks. I believe this is the reverse hollow. Yep. These Diamond Pearl reverse hollows or Heart Gold Soul Silver reverse hollows are just amazing. So super stoked to have that copy. And then we have a Cosmos from the theme deck. Pulled and graded myself in a PSA 9. This was the cleanest copy I had. Sent it off, got a 9. Couldn't be happier. Followed by a PSA 8. Now why do I have a PSA 8, you ask? I don't know if that's going to show up on the camera, but this is a double hollow error. PSA doesn't recognize it for this card, but I graded this, pulled it myself, got an 8. I'm happy with an 8 because this is, I believe, like 1 in 10 chance that you pull this from a thing. So yeah, I don't know if that showed up on camera, but definitely a double hollow, super sick. The one I am missing from this set is the non-hollow in a PSA 9, so I'm searching that one out. Another super rare, hard find. Not a lot of people graded them, but I love the artwork. I'd love to complete mid-era. After that, we got the Fukudas. This is the Gold Star Tyranitar. Not really, but that's what I like to call it. Fukuda artwork from Mysterious Treasures, I believe. This is probably the reverse hollow. Yep. Super cool cards. And we got the hollow. So I'm glad I was able to get these before the hype, because I believe this one's gone up a bit too. It's not the most expensive, but still gone up from what I paid for them. So before we get into vintage, we're gonna go through some Larvatars and Pupitars. And this one's just an honorable mention. We got the PSA 10 from Obsidian Flames. Had to scoop that, an IR of Larvitar. And then we will get into some reverse hollows from EX era. So I was collecting these. I thought they were super cheap, cool cards. I love the reverse hollows, love the stamps. And I actually graded this myself. This was the last one I needed. Got a PSA 8, little disappointed. So I did pick up a CGC copy. And I think this one's a bit cleaner. This one might have a shot at a 10. Really just looking for a 9 to complete my set. But got a couple copies of that one. That one's from Dragon Frontiers. And then we got the 9 of the Pupitar Dragon Frontiers. And most of these I paid around 40 bucks for, so it wasn't like a huge dent in my pockets. This one's also from Dragon Frontiers. What do we have here? The Larvitar. So this one's the Delta Species Larvitar, super cool. And then we have the Delta Species Pupitar from Dragon Frontiers, another cool one. So these look so awesome with the EXs and the reverse hollow Tyranitars that match with them. And then we have a, is this from Delta Species? Yep, Delta Species Larvitar. And it's a Delta species. This one's fire type. Super cool to have. I would actually like to get the Donald Duck copy of this, which, if you don't know, it's an English card, but I believe it was released in, I don't know, some European country in a magazine. And it's got the stamp, but it's non-hollow, and it's way more rare than this one. A lot of people don't know about it. I'm not a huge Larvitar collector, but I think that would be a cool one to get. Then we have the Delta Species Fire type Pupitar. Another cool card. And then we're going into my favorite hollow of all time, the Unseen Forces reverse hollow. I don't know if those balls are gonna pop up. This one's actually kind of hard to see the Pokeballs, but this one, it has like Pokeballs that are like 3-dimensional and they pop out. And so Got the Unseen Forces Larvitar, followed by the Unseen Forces Pupitar. These cards actually inspired this subset collection of reverse holo Larvitars and Pupitars, because there is no Tyranitar with this holo pattern, and I just love the holo so much I had to get these. Like I said, 40 bucks a piece. It was a fun little thing to collect on the side. Not too serious. Now they're probably all like 200 bucks. After that, I believe this is Team Rocket Returns. Oh, this is Emerald. This one's another cool one. It's got the Pokeball holos. These ones are two-dimensional. It's definitely a cool holo, but not as cool as the Unseen Forces. There's actually no Pupitar or Tyranitar in this set, so I scooped the Larvitar by itself. Super happy with it. Get another EX reverse holo. Now we're into Team Rocket Returns. So this one has a couple copies. This is actually my second favorite holo of the whole TCG. With the energies and the stamp, you can't go wrong. So I believe that's a, yep, that's a Larvitar. It's probably my second favorite Larvitar. I kind of like this one a little bit better. Not favorite Larvitars of all time. I might have to rank those at some point, but I just like this one better than the other one. Super cool. This one's by Harada. And then we go into the Pupitars. And these ones are dark Pupitars, if I believe. Yep, dark Pupitars. You got the stamp, the cool holo patterns. Super cool to have both of these in a 9. So it was just a super cool fun set to collect, and I got all these before the hype, so except for that last Dragon Frontiers, but it's probably my least favorite of all the Larvitars from XY era. So now we get into the Tyranitars from XY era. We have the Dragon Frontiers Tyranitar. And the cool thing about this artist is this is actually the only card he's drawn for the TCG. So we got a new cert, Delta Species, Thunder type Tyranitar, super cool. Followed by a Delta Species. This one is by Arita. And one thing I really like about this artwork is he's in like a Holland Phantoms Research Center. You got the fire typing. You get to see his back. You normally don't get good shots of his back. No comment. But yeah, this is one of my favorite cards. This is the holo in a PSA 9. I need to get guards for these. This is a expensive collection to guard up, if we're being real here. And then we got one of my favorites. We have the Delta Species Tyranitar with the Arita signature. So this has slowly become one of my favorite cards, is this Delta Species Tyranitar. Given the lore from Holland Research, if you don't know about that, go watch a video on YouTube. People dive deep into it trying to figure out the lore, but it's basically its own region, and that's why you get the Delta Species, because they were being researched on. So got another one with the signature this time. Super cool to have. Wish there was a sketch, but I got a really good deal on that, and it's a 9, mint 9, auto 9, can't complain. Followed by the reverse holo. Another thing I loved about these reverse holos is the gold text. So having his name in gold just adds to it, in my opinion. You got the stamp. I mean, the holos are basically the same. Just a sheen holo, but still super cool. I used to have this card in a 10. I recently sold it. No regrets there because I replaced it with the 9. 10s have gotten outrageous. I mean, I could have held out a little bit longer and gotten even more money for them, but I was overall happy with the price I got, and I made money at the end of the day, so you can't complain. Super cool card. And then we have the Unseen Forces Tyranitar EX PSA 9. So sick, so fucking slept on. I mean, maybe not slept on these days. The Unseen Forces, or I mean the EXs in general, the silver borders are just skyrocketing right now. I think a lot of them are passing some of the gold stars, which is insane. But this is a super cool card. You got him, he's like roaring, coming down on someone. The background's a little psychedelic. Got that beautiful silver border. Cannot go wrong with a pickup like this. I actually bought this one while it was on the way up. I was a little late to the party on that one. And these are cards I bought like once a month. I'd buy a big card, you know. Now we're getting into Team Rocket returns. This is the non-holo. The non-holos and stuff were something I waited a while to get into, but they were still pretty cheap, so I just snagged them all up while I could. I wanted to get the holos, the first editions, the reverse holos and 10s was my goal for a while, and then one of the Team Rocket returns reverse holos just kept getting out of reach, so I was never able to acquire it, and now it's like probably 15 grand. Then we have the theme deck Tyranitar. This is from Jesse's theme deck. Super cool. It's got the Cosmos foil. This is another copy that has just skyrocketed in a 10. I'm sure the 9s have gone up too, which is super cool. And then we're getting into the big boys, the reverse holos. So once again, you got that gold foil text. You got the energy symbols in the holo. Like I said, second favorite holo pattern of the whole TCG. You got that fierce Tyranitar. He's dark, coming at you. Got it in a 9. This is another one I used to have in a 10. Had to let it go, given how expensive things have gotten. Now we're getting into the other Team Rocket returns. This is the non-holo. Like I said, waited a while to get them. That's why they're new certs. But they weren't super expensive. Still more than what I could have got them for. I think I paid around $100 each. This is the one that I could never get my hands on in a PSA 10. I got close a couple times and then just kept slipping through my fingers. I secured the 9, super happy with that, and it's a big reason I decided to sell my other two 10s, because I just couldn't imagine dropping, you know, 10 grand plus on this in a PSA 10 when the 9 is this clean. I mean, it's a clean 9, and this set is super hard to grade, so it's not the end of the world to have 9s. I love 9s. They're a near mint card at a fraction of the price. Is the value going to increase a whole ton? Probably not, but it will increase over time, and I'm more collecting for the card than the grade. So then we're getting into Pop Series. This is a super iconic artwork. One of the most expensive EXs of all time is the holo variant. This one's from a pack itself, but it is definitely overshadowed by the holo variant. So you got the holo variant, Delta or Pop Series 1 Tyranitar EX. Cannot go wrong with the card like this. It is just getting out of reach in a PSA 10. I got this at a solid deal. I think it was like $200-300 right before it spiked. This is probably a $2,000 card now. And it deserves it, you know, super rare, insane to get in good condition. Like, these things come out of the pack beat. So finding a clean raw copy nowadays is impossible. It's not gonna happen, so. Now we're getting into some WotC. This is the end of WotC right here with the Aquapolis non-holo. So the non-holo e-readers, you got that scan feature. You can actually use this other than playing it in a game. You can swipe them on your e-readers if you got those. Super cool. This artwork has grown on me a lot. It wasn't my favorite to begin with. I know a lot of people say this is like their favorite artwork ever, but super cool. It does have Jurassic Park vibes. The lightning in the background, the ruins. Excited to have the non-holo. But even more excited to have the reverse holo. So these are ones I waited too long to get in at a good price. I mean, the non-holo, the reverse holo, they weren't bad. You know, it wasn't the end of the world picking up these But when it comes to the holo, I had to shell out some serious dough, and I'm super happy I could get a really clean copy. This one has a swirl underneath him, and I actually really like the green guard on it. Looks pretty good. So super stoked to have this. I paid like $3,200 cash for this at a Collecticon. I didn't even argue with the price because I'd been watching this thing since it was like an $800 card, and I felt like it was maybe a little too expensive at $800, which sounds ridiculous these days. But you gotta remember, when I started collecting, this stuff was cheap. I probably could have bought it for 200 bucks. And now it was an 800, and then a 1500, and then a 2000, and a 2700, and I kept bidding on auctions, and it kept getting out of my hands. And so finally I seen a clean copy at a show. I had made some money from selling some other stuff, so I snapped on it at 3,200, which is insane. And then we have the Expedition Tyranitar. This is the non-holo. Super cool card. He's a little bit more fierce, maybe a little uglier, but he looks scary. I like that. This is like Halloween Tyranitar right here. I like this artwork. I don't care what people say. Then we have the reverse holo. And a lot of people don't know, but for this set you actually have two reverse holos. So the non-holo got a reverse holo and the holo got a reverse holo. And there's two ways you can tell. You can tell by the set number down at the bottom right there. And you could tell by the E for everyone. So this one has a gold E, this one has a blue E. And they're both reverse holos. We got new certs on those, super cool. And then we got the holo. This is actually one of the first Tyranitars I picked up. My buddy had one for sale, thought it was a good price, snapped on it. It did have a crack in the case for the longest time, but we got it reholdered. Thankfully nothing went wrong, but super cool to have the holo variant as well as the reverses and the non-holo. You get to appreciate it in all different lights. So after that, we're gonna get into the big boys right here. Now this is my favorite card of all time. The PSA 10 Shining Tyranitar. This is one I did have for sale because prices spiked, but I don't think I'm gonna sell it yet. I think this could be a $100,000 card one day, and I may sound crazy, but give it another 5-10 years. This is a super clean copy. I know it's an older cert. I bought this before all the hype. I mean, it was still an expensive card, but I really wanted this in a 10 at the time because it's my all-time favorite card. Most of my collection is 9s, but man, this is one that's probably going to a safety deposit box after this video because it's getting a little too expensive to stay in my house. I mean, just having this whole collection in my house in general is insane, so we might have to put a lot of these in safety deposit boxes or in a vault or something. So then we got the Unlimited PSA 9. You can't go wrong with this card in any grade. And you got the first edition PSA 9. So this is my all-time favorite card. Cannot go wrong in any grade. I think this is the ultimate grail of Pokemon cards right there. A lot of people have their own opinions. I don't have to agree with them. After that, we got another really cool card. The first edition Dark Tyranitar. So this was actually the last card I needed to complete WotC, and I'm super happy I was able to do that. And I wanted it with the swirl, but I don't know if you can see, it does have a hollow orb coming out of its mouth, so that made up for it. The reason I wanted it with the swirl is actually because we've got the Japanese one with the swirl, and we've got the Unlimited one with the swirl, both in very similar spots. So we've got the Unlimited, we got the first ed, we got the Japanese. I'm not a big Japanese collector, but I did pick this up in Japan. Graded it myself in a 9. So I'm keeping it. You know, it was a super cheap card. Now it's like 250 bucks. It was like 40 bucks. Could have bought a copy for 40 bucks. After that, we do have another copy. This is in PG grading. I thought it looked clean. I think it still has potential to get a 9. This one does have a swirl. I don't know if it's gonna pick up on camera, but the swirl is up above its mouth. I kind of wanted them down here. The reason I bought the other first ed is because it was a good price. I saw it at a show. It was like 1,400 bucks. Bought it from Trader John's, and you know, this card was going up for a while. I think it had a few sales at 1,800, and that's why I bought this copy. And then when I seen it for 14, I just snapped on it. It's good to have a placeholder. If this does grade a 9, maybe I'll sell a copy, but to me, it was worth it to finish my set, even at 1,400 bucks. So now we're getting into the last of the Tyranitars. We've got the Neo Genesis. Yeah, Neo Genesis. This is the unlimited non-hollow Tyranitar, new cert. Kind of cool. Love that artwork. We got the first edition. Ooh, not holding that slab very good. First edition non-hollow. Another new cert. Got these super cheap. Was happy to pick them up. And then we have the unlimited hollow. Now this hollow, I feel like the Cosmos or whatever's in it doesn't pop as much, but it does look really awesome. It has a nice shine to it for sure. He's got like a gold outline around him, so super cool. And then we got the first edition. So I bought this right, it already kind of blew up, but I didn't buy it at all-time highs, so that makes me feel happy. But that is the last of the Tyranitars. We got some honorable mentions here. We've got an Expedition box topper Tyranitar. This one is actually pretty low pop. I want to say it's like pop 40. Had to get this to go with my Expeditions. So now I got all 5 of the Expedition Tyranitars. Kind of like the box topper. It looks great in this slab. It's a little bit bigger. You know, it's harder to fit in my case, but it looks good on display. So we're not mad about that. Then another one I got is the Mega Evolutions, or this is an Ancient Origin Mega Tyranitar right here. And it is a full jumbo card. This is actually the top graded copy. It's a CGC 9. There are no PSA 9s. It's pop 1. I'd like to maybe transfer this over to PSA, but I doubt it would get a 9. This thing is a little rough around the edges, but if you've seen these cards in person, none of them are good quality. I bought a sealed box, and the card literally had a crease in it, and I kind of bought it for this card in a sense because I wanted to grade a PSA 9 copy, but we'll settle for the CGC 9 for now. I think I paid like 100 bucks. Like I said, top pop. You can't go wrong with a card like this if you're master setting. So happy to own that. Then we'll get into some of my Japanese. So we've got not one, but we've got 2 Reviving Legends Unlimited PSA 9 Tyranitars. I actually bought this copy. The Unlimited of this set is super rare. I want to say, like, they grade well. In a PSA 10, it might be like 80 copies. There's probably like a little bit over 100 total graded. But these cards are super rare to find in Unlimited. In first edition, they're not as hard to find, but in Unlimited, damn near impossible. So I actually found a clean copy in my trip to Japan. Thought it had a chance at a 10. Unfortunately, it graded a 9. I probably will end up selling this copy. Don't really need to. And recently, I picked up a raw copy of the Unlimited Reverse Hollow variant of this, which is one of the all-time rarest cards probably ever, but it's by far the rarest Tyranitar card. and I believe there's only a total pop of like 14 ever graded. It's pop 3 and a 10, and if you can see, oh, I don't have the first edition one, but it's black, so that first edition stamp blends in super well. So we speculate that some of the PSA 10s could be first edition instead of unlimited, which is crazy, which is definitely, we've definitely seen them. So, and then we got some freebies I got from a friend. We've got some, this is a Bandit Ring Spirit Link. So I need this in English, and I actually need this in English too, the V. And I believe this is from like a, yeah, it's from a start deck. Super cool. When you see these in person, the texture even on the V's looks better than the English one. There's no texture in English, but in Japanese there's some texture, and the cards look better. So those were some freebies from a friend, and they're great in my collection. I appreciate them, you know, but I'm not a Japanese collector, so they maybe don't get as much love as some of my other ones. But this is another one I did buy. There's like a fuzzy in the sleeve. I bought this Awakening Psychic King Tyranitar. This is unlimited, PSA 9. Another super rare copy to find. If you don't know, unlimited cards in Japan are basically like the first edition. Like there's way less of them. And so my buddy graded this copy. I believe he upgraded to a 10. He sold me this. I think I paid like $100. I just knew how rare it was and thought it was a steal. So added that to collection. So that's, I believe it. I believe we went through them all. But if you want to check out some other videos, I will be filming some on speculating on cards. It's not financial advice, but you might learn something. What I do to figure out what I want to buy, like the Shining Tyranitar PSA 10. I bought this. I paid like 3.4 at the time. The Moonbryon was $3,000, and I was watching vending videos, and people were buying them on the regular at $3 grand. So if a Moonbryon pop 20,000 can go for $3 grand, why was this at 3,400? I like this card way more than the Moonbryon. It's a sicker Pokemon in my opinion. You may disagree. More iconic, way older. You know, this is 20 years older than that. And for it to be only a $400 difference, it was a no-brainer pickup. I wish I bought more copies in a 10, because I absolutely love this card. But I will do some more videos soon. I've kind of taken a break. I moved into a new house, you know, and been busy with that, moving stuff in, buying furniture. So anyways, this has been Austin at Tyranitrade.